next up we've got Geoff Wescott. Geoff's an Associate Professor of Environment at Deakin University's Melbourne campus. He's the former chair of the Marina Coastal Community Network and the current president of the Australian Coastal Society.
Thanks very much, James, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. So today I'm just going to give a brief overview of the Marine Protected Area Estate in Australia. I'm going to start with this map. My apologies if it's a little bit foggy, but I'm using this one because it shows two important reserves that we haven't mentioned before on those global maps, on the large-scale maps, and that's Herden Island, Donald Island Marine Reserve in the southern Antarctic waters, and also Macquarie Island, you can see there on the southeast coast of Tasmania. These are very significant and quite large reserves. And for trivia buffs, Mount Macdonald is the highest mountain in Australia, and they are active volcanoes. So if you ever want to catch someone out in a bar talk, there's a couple of pieces of trivia that work well. So you can see how extensive that network now looks. On this table, and I'll leave this table up for some time so that you can concentrate on it a little bit more. One of the other distinctions that needs to be made in the marine environment is the Commonwealth Marine Waters under the Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act. These Commonwealth Marine Waters is essentially Australia's exclusive economic zone. And so those waters are very extensive, as we've seen from the map, but they don't include the coastal waters. So from high water mark out to 3 nautical miles offshore, coastal waters are under the control of state governments. And of course, those are the waters where a lot of activity takes place, because they're the waters that are reachable by people in smaller vessels, for example. So this table's got a lot of information in it, so as I say, I'll leave it there for a little while. The jurisdictions that are listed down the side there are listed in the order of the size of their marine areas, the total marine area. So sometimes people find that surprising order with New South Wales having in fact the smallest amount of coastal waters. The first column is the marine protected areas in total square kilometres. So you can see again that the state waters are obviously smaller, but given the activity and the amount of human activity occurring in these waters, they are very significant contributions to the system. Often in marine management, we usually talk about managing humans rather than managing the marine environment. The notion of managing what you've seen on those maps in a direct sense is really an impossibility. So usually it is all about managing the human use of that environment. So the second column running down there, which starts to get more meaningful, is the marine protected areas as a percentage of the total marine areas in those jurisdictions. So this is where things look quite impressive. The Commonwealth comes in with 36.3% of Commonwealth marine waters in marine protected areas. Queensland very high. Queensland excludes there's always this thing about the Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef is in fact Commonwealth managed jointly with Queensland, but under a national Commonwealth Act. Western Australia, an impressive percentage. Northern Territory, South Australia, very impressive. Jason just pointed out that one of the features of the South Australian system was until they were ready to declare any park, they waited until they had them all and then declared them at once. But it comes in at 45.1%. Tasmania, that's 7.2% when you consider that on land in Tasmania, the protected area network is 50%. That is a very small figure. Victoria, 10.8 and stuck there. I'll come back to that in a moment. And New South Wales are a pretty impressive number as well. Now the last column is when we're sort of getting down to the meat of the issues and the final points as referred to earlier this morning. Now we haven't got a figure there. I haven't got a figure there for the Commonwealth because it's a bit hard to work that out. But 13.7% or thereabouts of Commonwealth marine waters are in category 1, 2 or 3. So that's probably the figure you'd say is highly protected, around 13.7. Strictly in category 2, it's really about, it's about 13.7%, but if you take that as the total area of marine waters, there's about 5% that are strictly in high protection in those Commonwealth marine waters. You go down through the states, and the picture's a little bit different to the total marine protected figures. Western Australia quite high, Northern Territory. South Australia and Tasmania in terms of category 2 drops away, Victoria and New South Wales. So those are the substantial figures that are on offer at the moment. And if I move along to some of the challenges we're facing, one of the first challenges, as many people in this room will know, is that the Commonwealth marine parks are, in fact, at the moment on paper, or on the sea if you like, and in that diagram you see there, the areas in grey, which are the South-East Marine Protected Area Network and the Great Barrier Reef, they are still present and being maintained under management plans under the Commonwealth Act. All the other coloured areas, which are zoned, currently their management plans are under review. In essence, that means at the moment those lines are lines on the map, but inside those boundaries, because the management plans are under review, it's really business as usual as to prior to their declaration. So that is a very important, we've got a very important review going on over the next couple of years, over the next 12 to 18 months, to determine whether the zones you see on that map are maintained in new management plans or not. Returning to that list of challenges there, one of the real features of this is that it's been an absolute fits and starts. So the southeast, oops, sorry, didn't move on. Thank you very much. Very good. Yeah, the fits and starts history of MPA declarations in Australia. It seems like we get a run on. The South Australia was a classic example, but so was the Commonwealth. Those southeast regional marine protected areas, it was almost a decade between those, and then that mass declaration of reserves that followed. Victoria had no significant marine reserves in 2002. It went to its figure of 10% of as NPAs and 5% as high protection. So we seem to not be able to get any momentum going here, and we don't seem to be able to maintain any momentum. Another factor is the coastal water MPAs. There are currently moratoriums in Victoria and Tasmania over any further marine protected area declaration. Victoria goes to election in 2 weeks with the coalition government and the opposition Labor Party promising no more marine national parks in the next term. That will take it to a total of 16 years by the end of the next term of government between marine national park declarations in the state of Victoria. So again, that reinforces that fits and starts piece. The emergence of partisan politics approach to MPAs. It was real. Those of you who were fortunate enough to listen to Greg Pearce earlier this morning, you would have heard him talk about the adversarial nature of park protected area politics. It's no more partisan than in MPAs. We really probably need to work on some of the things that Rob Stokes and Greg Pearce talked about this morning. There's a completely different approach and mindset to the way we declare these parks. So in conclusion, you can see a very overall strong development here, but it is a very long and winding road, and I think any visitors from overseas will be well aware of that, because that's certainly true of their jurisdictions as well. And you can follow up on all of these things next year. It goes across when James and my book on Big Bold and Blue, where we've got 20 experts, many of them in this room, who are writing different perspectives on marine parks, and they will give some reinforcement of some of the lessons we've